for you this lesson from Unity of the Keys Spiritual Center.
Good morning, everyone. So every time I get to come speak, I allow myself to tell you where I'm at in my journey. So it's not, a canned presentation or something I've done a long time. I actually want to share with you what I'm doing to help my heart or whatever's going on in my journey at that time. So when I got the email, like, what's your title gonna be? I said, Tools for the Heart, because I was in the middle of doing tools for my own heart. And I want to share you the process of what I was doing for myself at the time. And I have to put ahead of time, are you ready to be weird with me? Because oftentimes, I've been a clinical therapist for 30-ish years, I can say, since the early 1900s. And I know through my own practice and through helping others that oftentimes when we try new things, we're like, oh, that's weird, I don't want to do it, I don't want to try it. But when we are doing tools for the heart, it's not something that most of us learned in our school. If you didn't learn it from your family, well, we find other ways, and today's your day for this. I actually wouldn't say it's a weird practice, I say it's a sacred practice. And I often tell people when it's, if you're gonna do the whole sacred practice, to get an evening where you are alone with yourself, and the next day you could have free, so no work. And I'm gonna walk you through what it does, and it really helps. So I don't know about you, but when out in the world lately, I'm not sure what's going on, but our stress thermometers are really high. And I find when there are things that are going on in the world, especially on a collective level that I can't change, what I can change is what I do with myself. Because stress thermometers, 50, 60 degrees is healthy level. When we get up to 80, 90 degrees, well then I'm not acting like my normal self, I'm acting more of the fight or flight. And when I'm in that space, I'm more irritable, I'm more frustrated, I say things I probably didn't mean, I cut people off, I get angry in traffic, all the things that I might not do when I'm more grounded and centered to be present and available to be with another person. It just happens with all of us. When you're at 80, 90 degrees, that's what happens. So first thing is you check in if my stress thermometer is too high, what am I gonna do for myself to get back down? Because honestly, when our stress thermometers are high, all of us have it happen. It's just how we're physiologically wired, that if we were back in cave people times and a bear came running into our cave, all of us are gonna have, our pupils get bigger, our hearing becomes more sensitive, all the blood rushes from our fingers and toes to our more important organs, so we could run from that bear, fight that bear. If I'm running, am I using up a lot of my stress chemicals? Yeah, if I get away, I know I'm safe. It's clear cut. If you stay and you're fighting off a bear, you're gonna use up a lot of those stress chemicals, and if you chase the bear off, it's clear cut. In today's world, our mind doesn't always know that we're safe again. How many of you have watched a scary movie and you are feeling like it's happening in the moment, even though you're in your living room, right? Like, Chucky's not gonna come to life and come stab you, or your living room's not filling up and Jaws is swimming in. But our bodies, our imagination can be used for not good. When we get scared, we get our stress thermometers really high. And what I've seen as a therapist on this collective stress levels are really high. So we're all a little bit more irritable and frustrated and angry with each other. So what we can do, now bear with me, I want you to sit down by yourself, I don't want anyone to see this, and you're gonna write the meanest, nastiest, most vicious, vile letter you have ever done in your entire life. And I know if you've been to therapy before, they're like, oh, I've done this, but bear with me, there's more. So you're gonna write it, and reason being, oftentimes therapists are telling you to sit with your emotions, to be present with them, and they're hard to do, especially whatever's going on. If you've been disgusted and you're mad at manipulation and all of those emotions that we don't like to feel, we often just press them down and try to keep moving. I want you to go and write them out. And method to the madness, I don't want you to type, I want you to write. So when you're writing it out, you will literally be slowing down your brain to see what's been going on inside you. And don't make it pretty. The first time I did it, my teacher was like, I had 1 page, and she was like, oh, honey, you got 10 pages front and back. Get in there. Because if you're not going to get dealing with it, it's just going to keep building within you. How many of you realize that keeps happening, right? As your stress thermometer keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and eventually you freak out on someone, you feel a little bit better inside, honestly, after, until you start yelling at yourself that you yelled at somebody. But this helps you to keep that stress thermometer down. You got to sit with how disgusted, angry, frustrated, whatever it is that's going on inside you, get it out. Be nasty, be mean. You can start dear so-and-so, but whatever. If it goes back 20, 30 years, let it go back 20, 30 years. That's been sitting inside you that long. Because emotions are energy in motion, and that energy's been sitting in there, and you've had to keep pushing it down. It's exhausting. So get it out. And once you get it out, I want you to read it back to yourself. And if you start yelling, if you start crying, if you start any of that, that's amazing. That's great. Because when we cry, that's our body's natural way of taking care of ourselves. You know, way back in grad school, they had us do the study where physical or emotional pain, you can actually see in your tears, you can see the biochemicals of pain in there. Versus if we're outside and you know, it's really windy, or you're cutting onions, or you're laughing out of pain, of joy, no pain chemicals. I don't know who made up the lie that it's weak to cry. It actually makes you weaker not to. And it makes us more manipulatable not to, because we're always pushing that down. If it comes out, let it out. That's the point. The other ways our body takes care of herself is you've got to cry it out, you've got to speak it out, scream it out, sweat it out, or go to the bathroom. Get it out. That's the natural ways our bodies take care of ourselves. So you've written it out, now you're yelling, crying, and now's when it gets really weird for people. I want you to look at the themes that are happening in your letter. I don't know what's happening in your journey right now. It'll change for everybody. But you'll look at the themes like, oh, I don't like manipulation, I don't like betrayal, I don't like lying. That's pretty much what this whole letter's about. You're going to either make 3x5 cards, get a slip of paper, write betrayal on it, and now I want you to put it on a pillow and beat the heck out of betrayal. Not the person, the pattern that keeps happening. I want you to stomp on it. I want you to spit on it. I don't know, whatever you need to do to that, because I don't know if you've noticed in your life by now, if you have lots of betrayal, it just keeps happening, the pattern, until you change, because it'll just keep coming from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. So you're deciding, I'm done with this pattern. So I've cried it out, I've sweated it out that way, right? Till you're exhausted. My teacher who taught me this, they gave me a wiffle ball bat, a pillow, and you had to beat it out until you were exhausted. So get it out. It sounds weird, but you're by yourself and you're done with it, that pattern being in you. If you choose, right? Get it out. And then after that, the whole next day, you're deciding no triggers. Nothing that's going to trigger you. So I can't go on social media anymore because mine was like, oh, look at the cute dog. Oh, look, somebody went to Italy. Oh, look. Oh, how nice. And then trigger. Like I can't, it just keeps getting me irritated and angry, and I'm sitting in my living room like, all right, so I'm going to choose that day. I give everyone the homework ahead of time. I want you to think of the 3 things you love to do most as a kid. And whatever those 3 things are, I want you to do at least one of those the next day. And having done this for I forgot. When you are done stomping on it, I want you to rip it up. And if you have a safe space in your home or outside, I want you to burn it. Because you can see the transformation happening. And I don't know why this is. It's been 20 years of doing this, that if you really meant it, it burns fast. If you've got some more work to do in there, it burns slow. Sometimes I have to keep lighting things to try to get it to go. And then with the ashes of that, you're going to take it and put it around a tree, put it in your plants, because what was meant to harm you now is going to help something else grow. If you don't have a safe space to burn it, then I want you to get it really tiny little pieces and you're going to flush it. Because any other toxins that have come out that you flush, you never go back to get again, right? So you're giving your mind the thought, like, we're letting this go. I'm not going to go back in my toilet for anything. We're done with it, right? It gives your mind the, okay, we're done with it. Then the next day, because if you've cleared something out, you've got to put something back in. So when you think about it, if you've been disgusted, angry, frustrated, mad, let's put some joy in. Because joy and disgust don't usually hang out at the same parties, right? Stress and peace don't hang out together either. So what am I going to put in there instead of this frequency I've been hanging out on? So 3 things you love to do as a kid. And one of the most popular is coloring. A lot of adults tell me that. Great, go to the dollar store, get some crayons, get some coloring books. I don't know. You can plan ahead, order them on Amazon, whatever you want to do. Just do, because remember when you were a little kid and you got lost in whatever it is you were doing? That's what you do again, to put back in there. I know I was teaching other therapists about it, and one raised her hand and she said, I used to love climbing trees, but I'm not going to break my hip. And I was like, it's okay. But long story short, she emailed me a couple months later and said she was out with her grandson and he wanted to climb a tree, and so she tried it with him, and it made this huge bonding goodness happen. And she said, thank you, I was being, pushing on you, but it actually really helped. So whatever it is, a lot of us ride bikes around here. People love to ride bikes, go do that, but not, having somewhere to go, just to have fun again. Whatever it is that made you get into that space, get back in intentionally. As well as, you could I used to make playlists on the cassette, right? Go back and make your top 10 favorite songs. When's the last time you thought about your whole life? And if you had to pick out the top 10 songs, go find them, go listen to them. Music really helps to calm us, helps us to feel better, brings back up joyful memories. So that's using the imagination for good, not a scary movie, but all the good things that it'll bring back in your life. And spend your day immersed in that. So you could be coloring with your favorite songs on. Or making it simple again, like, what are your favorite TV shows that made you laugh, that made you like, I love humanity again? Or favorite movies, go seek them out, search them out, and spend your day in that. I also give people permission that you can put on your voicemail. I'm not available, I'm off the grid today, I'll call you tomorrow if it's an emergency text. Just be off the grid, put the same thing on your email if you have to, however people get in touch with you. So you can just be present with you and your heart and your soul and your body. Does that make sense? Because if not, I was mentioning this morning, I was thinking about that if this was all the drama and the trauma and the stress, like we're pouring it into the cup and I'm holding on to it, is it a big deal if I'm doing it like this? It's not a big deal holding on to it, but how about an hour from now if you had to? How about by tonight? Your arm's going to be hurting, maybe it's going numb. That's the kind of same thing that happens with us. And some of us hold on to this stress for 20 years. So doing this practice, this sacred practice, helps you to go ahead and put it down. And don't get me wrong, stress is going to try to keep filling back up your cup, but you get to decide that you've put it down. Does that make sense? So it's writing the meanest, nastiest letter, sweating it out, and then burning it to see if you're really done with it, and using that energy to do good with it. And then the next morning you find some time to really fill yourself up. And you might already know what those lovely things are. I'm just offering some other ways that might have worked for you. Does it make sense? All right, so I want to make sure I stay on time. So I thank you for taking really good care of your heart. Oh, one last thing, because people always say to breathe, and I learned something really cool. Can I share it with you? So I want you to just take a breath and feel where it's at in your body. Now take just your pointer finger and your thumb and feel. I guarantee you'll feel it here. Now do it with your middle finger and thumb, and it'll move down. Do it with your ring finger, and it moves further down in your body. and do it with your pinky, and it's more further down in your belly. Do you notice the difference? So whenever you're writing out that letter or something else is happening in your life and it becomes overwhelming, you can feel where it's at in your body and breathe into it with that simple practice. And if it gets too overwhelming writing your letter, remember you're safe in that moment. All of those emotions, you're just honoring what they were teaching you. Like the anger that's coming up is somebody crossed your boundary of what you find good, right, and true in this world. And maybe you couldn't do anything about it because it's bigger than, something happened in the collective, but you can take exquisite care of you so that when you are walking around in this world, you're being the light versus what they tried to extinguish. Does that make sense? Well, thank you, and I am grateful for having this time with you this morning. Thank you.